but I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man.
Good morning,
until I'm done.
and welcome to the 44th Breakfast Ball. I'm your host, Bob Cardia, and to my left, again, nobody. But I'll tell you, there's a darn good reason for that today. My assistant, Richie Stoltz, is in Asheville, North Carolina, and that's where his family is from. And personally, I don't think it's getting enough attention right now. I know, like the death toll, they said a few weeks ago was at 60, or I'm sorry, less than a week ago, said it was at 60, and then it was at 90, then a couple of days ago it was 160, and now it's at 200. And my understanding is, because Richie finally got through to his family, and thank God his family is doing okay. Although they had to be relocated, and I think he said 4 hours from their home, and word on the street is that they're probably not going to have power there for months. So just know this: it looks as though, and I could be wrong, but there's 100 confirmed fatalities right now. That number could grow to over 500. So thoughts and prayers to the people in Asheville and anywhere in North Carolina or any area impacted by that disaster. I did a Dalai Lama quote. Actually, I think I have it here. I did it earlier on our shorts. It was by the Dalai Lama. And basically it says, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity could not survive. So I highly encourage anybody out there who watches the podcast to look in to see what you could possibly do to help those people in Asheville. With that said, again, welcome to the 44th Breakfast Ball. I'm going to start off with a quote today. It's Bill Rogers, who's a world-famous runner from the past. He basically said running a marathon essentially is a process of managing your energy. When he's performing at his best, he experiences feelings of controlled strength, controlled aggression, and positive momentum. And it's interesting because this is a performance psychology show. We talk about other sports as well as golf, but golf is the sport we talk about the most, and what I coach professionally. He would set goals within a race and places to make your moves. And we had our meeting last week with our Rutgers team. I highlighted one of the touring professionals who talked about scoring in golf, and he said roughly there's 6 to 10 times in a round of golf where you should be aggressive. If you have a wedge in your hand and the situation is right, that's a time to be aggressive. There are other times when you're out there and it's not the right time. So spending your resources or spending your efforts in long shots, and as I say, PJ Tour caddy, a caddy once told me, if you can't pull off a shot 7 out of 10 times, then don't try to execute it. So interesting. I thought that was something that most people don't look at. That they look at an event, they look at constant focus and constant attention. And there are really times, over a course of any event or even a life event, that you should really measure where the effort goes. So let's look at it more in terms of golf. We talked about a few weeks ago, Dr. Lair, and I'm taking a lot of stuff after Dr. Lair's book, but how golf is one of the most mentally challenging sports. Because like we discussed, 25% of the time in tennis, you're actually engaged in hitting the ball, whereas in golf, it's only 1% of the time, leaving you a lot of downtime. Imagine if you tensed your muscles or tried to stay in intense focus every minute of a round of golf. You'd burn out. You need to focus, when you need to focus, when the times, those 6 to 10 times are where you need to go out and attack. I love this because in Lord's book he talks about exerting effort. Okay, exerting effort while maintaining energy. Okay, so when to exert that energy and when to maintain, a sense of calm. The idea is basically this: the goal in muscle awareness is to match the task with the effort. To match the task with the effort. So at the end of the day, like if you put down a game plan, and it's the same idea, I guess, in football when they talk about scripting out the first 15 plays. Um, they're designing a game plan of when and when not to take advantage of a situation. So his point being also, and I'll, you could talk about you know weightlifting, golf, baseball, but hitting something harder or trying harder, straining your muscles or your mind, doesn't always mean that that's going to be an asset to physical performance. Honestly, it's not. What studies show, and it's interesting because anybody who follows Dave Pelz, and I love Pelz's stuff, he talks about dead hands. Um, Dead hands means that you're holding on to the club as lightly as you possibly can, right? And what that also does is, and I use this example all the time in my lessons, but have you ever seen somebody who's bad at public speaking, right? What happens, right? They get a little pale, they start sweating a little bit, and their hands shake. And I tell people this all the time. What part of your body touches the golf club? And it's your hands. So if you start to get tense, adrenaline starts to flow, first place it goes here. So Pelz's basic principle is dead hands. Holding onto the club as lightly as you can and just simply keeping your weight on your front foot and turning your torso back and forth. If you've ever felt a golf club that doesn't have the head on the end of it and you swing it, you'll be like, holy shnikes, like this freaking thing is a feather, right? Think of it this way. If you wanted to get real rhythm, you want to get maximum speed, and you tie your car keys to a string, and you start doing this, that's the effort required. It's not this. It's not tensing your muscles. It's getting the centrifugal force. The way golf clubs are designed, the longer clubs, less loft, is to swing faster. But your goal is to put efficient use of your body, right? So I kid people all the time, and it's not even a joke. It's the truth. Like here's another lure. Power and speed are linked, but not the way you think. Typically, the harder you try to swing, the tighter your muscles become, leading to restricted movement. So, the people that put the death grip on the club out there are the people who tighten up in general, right? Tensing your muscles typically leads to a reduction in performance. And here's a great Dr. Lore fact. He's talking about distance running and weightlifting and a variety of sports, golf, baseball, the whole 9 yards. How about this? Okay. Studies show that people that lighten their jaw muscles, right, they perform better. So when you're working in a sport and you actually relax your jaw, right, your body, less tension in your body, better performance, which I find that fascinating. I always find little tidbits like that because I always try to implement them into my own life, into what I do. So, like today we're playing. Today is the 25th annual Dr. Don Cardia Memorial Golf Tournament. We give money to Fox Chase Cancer Research. Pancreatic cancer, incidentally, guys, is the one of the top, if not the top, most deadly cancer out there. It's something like 97% of all people that are diagnosed with that particular type of cancer are dead within 6 months. So my brother and I, we started the tournament 25 years ago to raise money for Fox Chase Cancer Center. And I know we're over $100,000 somewhere. It's basically a labor of love. We're just a two-man committee. So, if you can, thoughts and prayers for anybody who has pancreatic cancer, or if you're so inclined, my father. I've molded a lot of stuff in my life after what he was all about. So, anyway, without getting overly sentimental, shout out to the people who are battling that horrible disease. Anyway, back to this. When I'm at the golf tournament today, right, and let's just say I'm trying to poke a drive out there around the bend, or stick something closest to the pinhole or something like that. I'm going to try that today, Dr. Lair. I'm going to try to relax my jaw muscles and see if that provides me a sense of relaxation. I know the studies show it does, and hey, anything like Richie and I always say, right? And I coined the phrase years ago, but if you get anything out of these podcasts, right, and you go on to become rich and famous, we get 10%. Just saying. Anyway, so no muscle relaxation is closely linked to maximum power and accuracy. Okay, again, let me repeat that. Know that muscle relaxation is closely linked to maximum power and accuracy. Okay, so the more that you can take the adrenaline out of your hands, okay, not only the more power you're going to get, but also the more accuracy. Anyway, today is a little bit of an abbreviated program. I have a lot of stuff to do today for the Dr. Don Cardia Memorial, but try these little tidbits, folks. Like less is more, right? Literally, less is more. Know the stupid part about golf is the harder that you try, generally the worse it gets. It's not fair. I tell people all the time, the reason that I have a job in golf instruction is because golf is inherently stupid. Okay, think about this, folks. If you want a ball to go up, you got to bang down. If you want a ball to curve right, you got to swing left. If you want a ball to curve left, you got to swing right. It's why I have a job. And the harder you try, the worse it becomes. Anyway, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe. Same thing. Actually, I'm giving a Starbucks gift card out today to our man Toby Hammerquist, who's probably our most ardent viewer. Every time I see Toby, he's talking about the podcast. So thank you, Toby. I love you for it. And he actually ordered a breakfast ball cap. This is the cap, but he ordered one today, and we're going to be dropping that off to him. So if you like what we're doing, please say I love the breakfast ball. You go into a hat, and we draw it out each week, and we send out a Starbucks gift card. Also, our online store starting next week, folks. I'm probably going to be wearing some breakfast ball apparel on there. Thank you to, I think, 5 or 6 people this past week who ordered breakfast ball apparel. I love it. Thank you. Can't wait to see you wear it. And like I said, when you're rich and famous, folks, and you got something out of this podcast, please know we get 10%. God bless, and Asheville, thoughts and prayers are with you.
Glass of bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha.